Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's afternoon session. It's a bit chilly here in Nairobi, where I'm joining you from. I hope you're having a fantastic day where you are. And I just want to let you know that today we are going to talk about building your brand and selling online, but our main focus would be on our websites. So thank you so much for joining the class. Let me know where you are joining us from. My moderator will be able to have a chat with you in the comment section. If you have a question, a comment, or feedback that you want us to address, my moderator will be able to address that. So thank you so much for joining today's class. Just let me know where you are joining the session from, and then we can be able to proceed. My name is Winnie, and I am the trainer for today's session. This session is brought to you by Africa 118 in partnership with Google Digital Skills for Africa. All right, so thank you so much for being a part of today's class, even as we proceed. I
All
hope
right, so thank you.
you're feeling fantastic where you are, and you're ready even to participate in today's class. I can see my moderator is already in the comment section. Her name is Elia Chebet. She'll be able to just be able to just attend to your questions and your feedback as they come through. All right, so let's get started in today's class, where we're going to talk about building your brand and selling online, but our emphasis will be on websites. So our agenda, like I said, we're just going to run through our website and some of your e-commerce offering, and that's it. But before we get started, just to remind us that we have a session from Google. So if you are a small business and you think this is time for you to scale, or you want to learn more about the business environment, all the way from finances to pitching to digital marketing. So everything in the sphere of business, you want to learn that. You are able to please sign up at the Google Hustle Academy, and then you'll be able to get a link. My moderator will share that in the comment section, and then you can be able to apply. They'll give you a response, and then you can be able to participate in the bootcamp. So it is a week-long bootcamp, very exciting. Yeah, so if you've not had a chance to participate in it, there's an opportunity for you. So even as we get started, I just want to hear, how do you currently market your business? Remember, there are different kinds of ways that you can market your business, from Google, from social media, from word to mouth. Maybe you're even doing billboards, or you've gone to radio and TV. So whatever way that you are using as a business currently, just share with me in the comment section, and I'll be able to sample that even as we proceed with the class. So on to our main section. Why is it important for us to have even our business online? It's very, very important. We need to run through a bit of statistics, even we go through the nitty gritty of why, of how our website should essentially look like, and what are some of the things we need to watch out for. So based on statistics, internet users are on average 1.79 billion people, and that's an increase from 1.66 the previous year. So very, very important. We can see more people are coming online and more people are transacting online. And 97% of people learn about businesses online or anywhere else. For example, you want to buy a new phone, you go online, you want to check out what are some of the specs for that watch, what are some of the specifications for that phone, for example. Then you want to look at the different prices for other online shops potentially they're giving. So, and then before you even go to that actual shop and see if you can negotiate the price, so you already have the price in mind. So you're just going to see, can I get it at a lower price than what I had thought. So 97% of people look for information online than anywhere else. I'm sure even you, once you want to find something, you go to Google. That's like your default setting, to go to Google to just find out information about that. And it's being estimated that up to 95% of purchases will be done through e-commerce by 2040. So if you are a business right now, it's very, very important for you to have a website, because you can see most of the transactions by the time we are at 2040 will be done online at a percentage of 95%. So at some point, maybe shops will just be like a collection center, or just a store for products, and or probably if you are in service industry, just somewhere people can just come and get the service. So that's very, very important to take note of. All right. So even as we are looking at the statistics, it's very important to understand why businesses use the internet. How can you use the internet? One way of using the internet is by buying your products or selling them online. Very, very important. Yes. That's actually the essence of having a website. For example, right now, if you want to buy products online, you'll go to Jumia, you'll go to Naivas website, you'll go to whatever website it is. If it is King's Collection, you want to buy some of their products, you'll go to their website and then you'll be able to buy that. Your customers can also be able to reach you online if you are online. So while they're doing their browsing, they can be able to see your business and interact with it. You can be able to advertise, let's say, for example, on social media, on Google Ads, or whichever form of advertisement you want to do online. And it also allows you to research competition. Remember, like the fellow businesses are also online, so you're able to look through to see what are some of the things that they are doing that you could potentially borrow, or just you want to compare your business with them and see how you are performing. So just to benchmark yourself and see if you are on the right track, or if you need or have some work to do. And so, what are some of the ways you can build an online presence? So, here we are. You can be able, for example, the different ways or platforms that you can use to build your presence online. And what are those ways that you can build your presence? Here we are through the website. You can have your own website, set it up and run on whichever platform or hosting you want to. We have social media platform. This one we are conversant with in terms of Facebook, Instagram, in terms of LinkedIn. Yeah, especially if you are a professional, you're targeting professional or decision makers. Very, very important to look at LinkedIn, or even lead generation. If you want to do lead generation and you're potentially targeting decision makers, LinkedIn is your go-to. We have online directories, the likes of Yellow Pages, for example. That's an example of an online directory. Alternatively, you could be having an e-commerce platform. So there are different e-commerce platform. One example I've just given is Jumia. We have Gigi. So we have different platforms that you can be able to use to be found online. All right. So, how does that look like in terms of e-commerce and websites? Yeah, I know some of us already have websites, and we are trying to even sell on those websites. So, it's very, very important to even um, keep track of how that is performing. And here in Africa, we have 4 million internet users, and this is second only to China. So China has the biggest or the largest number of internet users online, and we make up to 10% of the global retail sales, which have been valued at around 75 billion. Yeah. And also, it's very, very important to note that Africa generated 16.5 billion from e-commerce in 2017. So that was 2017. Remember, in 2020, when COVID came through, we had so many people also buying online because that is the only way they could be able to get those products being delivered to them when we had lockdown and no one was going to those brick and mortar offices. Yeah, so that has grown. So also this is a chance for you to also take up that space. All right. Yeah. So what are some of the e-commerce platforms that you can make use of? We have Amazon. I know Amazon is a global online retail and it's both for individuals and businesses. So you can display your product there and then somebody can be able to buy. So it's a link between the seller and um, the buyer, and it's one of the largest e-commerce retailers in the world, and it has some of the most powerful brands. So if you want to do business with some of the most powerful brands, you could potentially look at them on Amazon. We have Konga is famous in Nigeria mostly, so it's an e-commerce platform. And also similarly to Amazon as well, but it's only that is localized to Africa. And then we have Jumia. I know Jumia, if you are in Kenya, you have had a chance to interact with Jumia in one way or other. It could be you saw an advertisement of it on TV, or you bought a product on Jumia. Whichever way it is, that is an e-commerce platform. You can also list your products there as a business, additional to even having your own personal website. Yes, so you could have your own personal website and still have your products listed on Jumia as a vendor. All right, we have Kilimall. Kilimall is also localized mostly here in Kenya. We have Gigi. Gigi is an open online marketplace. So it's similar to also Bidder Boy. So like for example, if I want to sell a product, I'll go list it on Gigi. Then sometimes Gigi will do advertisement for that particular product, or if somebody is looking for that product, they'll be able to see it and then be able to come to me. Similarly to a service, I can list that I am this service provider um, for this particular business, for this particular service rather. And then if somebody is looking for that service, they can be able to reach out to me. For example, I am a violin teacher and I'm looking for clients, so I can make a listing on Gigi. Then if somebody is looking for a violin teacher, they can be able to reach me and then we can communicate further. So even before we go to the main topic of the day, which is the website and how do we make them better, very, very important to make note that it's important that you are in an online business directory. So remember, we are maximizing on our visibility online. So yes, you could be having social media, that's okay. But also if you can have a website, that's fine. But if you also additionally decide to have your business listed on directory, that's now fantastic. So there are different directories that you can have your business listed. Just an example is the Africa business page. Could also just have that listed there. And like I said, we have the yellow pages on Africa. So what you do, you just go to the directory. Once you click on that link, you'll need to register your business. Very important to note that you need to also list where you are in terms of your region and your country. What is that contact that you can be reached to? And then some just personal details that they and also you could also to have your or decide to do YouTube if you on YouTube, you could decide to use video, or if you want to do, let's say, how to do's or actually even in every industry, potentially you want to do a demo, or let's say you sell a product and you want to do a demo of how to use it. You could decide to open a YouTube page. You could also showcase your products on Instagram. You could showcase it on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Twitter is mostly quick fire and a lot of PR. So if you think your business would benefit from that, then you could decide to use Twitter. And then we also have Facebook. Remember, every platform has its own kind of audience and its quote unquote rules or best practices for every platform. So very, very important to make sure that you choose a platform that reflects your business. So even before we go into how to make our website better, let me see who is on the comment section today. You can see we have the voice behind the ear. Shout out to you. You're Ada from Mombasa. Karibu sana. I can see we have Nelson Kinoti from Smart Digital. Thank you so much for joining. Frederick from Freddy Plumbing Services. Good to see you. Pan Nail Polish. Good to see you. Joe is always present. Thank you so much for the support, Joe. Shout out to you today. All right, so thank you so much for that. Welcome everyone on board. So let us now go to, let's see, from Machaka Group. How's Machaka doing in terms of business? So just share with us and let us know, Frederick. Thank you so much for that. I can see we have Moms by Karen is also another one, always ever present. Thank you so much, Lydia, for that. So thank you so much for all that have been able to join today's class. So I just want us to now go into looking at websites. We have now looked at different ways that you can have your presence online. And by now, I'm sure all of us at least know which one are working for our business and which ones are not. For the meantime, somebody share with me your website URLs or your website domain name. So share with me because I'll be needing that for a bit of demo here and there. So Mwachaka, Mams by Kare, we have Palm Nail Polish. So whichever one of you, you can just share your link for your website here in the comment section. That is what I'll be able to use even as we move to the next segment. All right, so thank you so much. Right now, I'm just going to check if you have a question that you'd want to share with me. Also, just put it in the comment section and I'll be able. Yeah, I can see Sana, Amoa Creatives and Team Revolution. You are well represented. Thank you so much for share with me. Remember to share with me your domain links for our practical class today. All right. So thank you so much, all who have joined. Has been a pleasure to see you all again. Thank you, my moderator, for also keeping the chat lively. Absolutely. So we can move on. We can transition to the next bit of our class and just see how it goes. At this point, if you do have a question, just share with me. Share with me your questions, your comments, your feedback, even as we transition. So first, I'll begin with e-commerce websites, and then I'll move to the other websites like the display one. So let's get started when it comes to e-commerce. Very, very important. Like I said, I'm sure everyone at this point, you already know what a domain is. So very important to make sure you pick the right domain for your business. And one thing I just want to echo, domains expire on a yearly basis. So very, very important to make sure that you keep track of also when your domain is going to expire. So remember, if your domain expires, for example, and you're not able to bring it up online, somebody else can buy it. So if somebody else buys it, then it means you'll not be able to use that will force you to um, buy a different domain. And sometimes some people want, for example, they have been, let's say, following your website, and they know that you've been getting a lot of traffic. They're always looking for a domain to buy, so that immediately your domain goes down, they buy it and redirect that traffic to their own websites. So very, very important to note that domain, you have to always renew it. But remember, this is also an identity of your website, part of your brand. So make sure that you also protect that. So very, very important to make sure that you pick your domain right. All right. So just to give us a bit of fun fact, computers use IP addresses. Interestingly enough, it's just numbers, so ones and zeros, and so that's how computers communicate. So ones and zeros. So your domain basically is developed to just try give you an identity. So even as you chose that domain, I hope it represents your identity as a business. And is you now choose your hosting, and I'll be talking also today about the different kind of hosting. Then potentially after this class, you can decide which kind of hosting do you think is the best for your business. All right, so we have got Bluehost. Bluehost is a global it's a global platforms that yes can help you with hosting your domain, also with domain king, and similarly to go GoDaddy. All right. Also, another thing is also important to take note that you have an SSL certificate. Yes, I know if we've developed your website here at African 118, then you do have that. So what is an SSL certificate and why is it important? All right, so let me just show you on my screen for those who do not or who are wondering what exactly is SSL. So let's begin by there when we are looking at our website. So today is a very interesting class. So let me just share with you. Okay, so let's see, you should be able to see that on your screen. Absolutely. All right, that's fine. So let me see. So far, you've not shared with me any of your domain names. More Creatives, do you have a website? Please share with me. Mwachaka as well. I know you do have a website. Share with me your domain. Let's begin by Mwachaka. Let's see if Mwachaka Group Limited. Let's see if your website is secure. There you go. Yeah, I can see you're doing some good job here. I want to go to GBP today. Yeah, I'll just stick to websites. So here is Mochaka's website. You can see here where the cursor is. I hope you can be able to see. All right. Okay, I can see from your screen, you can be able to see. So from here, you can be able to see this is secured. It has a padlock here that is locked. So what does it mean? It means that this website is secure. So for example, if I am able to, I don't know if I'm able to buy from here. So if I was able to buy from here and I am putting information such as my card number, it means that my information is secure. So if your website is not secure, so let me just look for, let's see. Yeah, there's a website I saw that is not secure. Let's see. Okay, yes. So you can see this website is not secure. So one of the disadvantages of your website not being secure is number one, it's easily hackable, or let me say somebody can listen into the website. So if let's say for example, you can see this is a tours and travel company. So potentially most of the clientele are from other countries, potentially coming to Africa, and I see it's taking a bit of longer to load. I don't know why. Let me try another website, but anyway. So you can see here, Google is saying this website is not secure. That means, however best or good looking or fantastic the website is looking, this means this website is easily hackable. So if I come here and let's say I make a booking and I am paying online, my information is not secure. Somebody can easily hack into this website and copy, let's say, my information about my card number and copy my information about my card number and potentially misuse that. So very important to make sure your website is secure. Yeah. So I'm glad to see Machaka, your website is secure. All right. So let's proceed. With the class. So I hope at the end of today's class, all of us are going to look at our sites and just check that they are secure. All right, so let's continue with our presentation, even as we are learning further about our websites. All right, so that's very, very important to keep our eyes on that, to make sure that our website is secure. So here we were. All right. Yes, so depending on the templates that you use, and I'll also be just saying something about the templates that you use. So templates make a big part of your website, especially if you're building your website from scratch. And they also have to do with the speed of your website. So very, very important, even the template that you chose to have your website on to be the right template or the one that represents your message well. And then we have content. So here is where I want to begin our conversation. Yes, making sure like your website has content, it has pictures, it has, if you let's say you have a blog, yes, it can have video if you so wish to have videos. It can have text, the normal text that you'll go and see a website. So make sure just the content you are uploading, you are thinking in terms of your client. So you're thinking from their perspective. If they want, they come to your website, will they find the information that they are looking for? So now to the best practices for websites. So number one, prioritize your audience. Very, very important. Like I've said, try to put content from the audience perspective. So that will help you, so that you put appropriate audience for whatever appropriate content for your audience that are coming. Also research on competition, see what they are doing with regards to their website, and see if there's something you can learn, or how do you position your website and have that unique positioning. So do a bit of research for websites that are doing something similar from yours, and then from there you can also start to think of what makes you different. What is that unique value proposition that you have, or what highlight do you want to put in your website copy that you think will attract your audience? And then also a bit of SEO. And I remember in our last class, I was able to share with us a link to where you can just get started to learn a bit of SEO just to improve your website. All right. So now, what are some of the things we need to keep our eyes on when it comes to our website performance, and why is it important to even optimize our website or have our website in the best shape? Number one, remember some of the things that will determine or help your website to accomplish is conversion. So if you have conversion, we've just seen at Mwachaka group, they are selling these sources. So if they want conversion for that, it's very, very important for them to keep their eyes on their website, to make sure, like for example, the products that they are there, they're visible. So let's say they have the best pictures. Yes, they have the best content, but how fast does the page load? So remember, 1 second delay can mean 7% reduction of the conversions. So if people are coming to your website and it's taking longer for your website to load, then it means you're losing people, because people will not have the patience to wait for that website to complete loading. So if it's taking a lot of time to load, then that means people will drop off. So the conversion of that website will go down. Remember in our previous class when I talked about Google Ads, and I made a mention that as much as you're doing advertisement, Google will also look at your website, and some of the things they are going to look at is how fast your website is loading. And you are going to test run that to just see how fast some of the websites are. Another thing is visibility. So how easily your users find you will determine your website performance. So, and some of that is speed, like I said. So, if your website is loading very slow, it means your visibility will go down. So, I have, let's say, I was browsing and then I saw your website, or I saw an advert about your business. Then I clicked on it. It took longer to load, so I wasn't able to clearly see what message you have for me in the website. And lastly, usability. Is your website usable? How responsive is your website? So remember, the better your website performs, the more satisfied a user will be. So if a user has a best experience on your website, then they'll be able to come back to your website. So your website retention will be high, and also it will also build up strong brand, because people know, if I'm able to go to that website and have a good experience, I'll be able to say exactly what I'm looking for. Imagine going to a website and then you're sitting there and it's taking a lot of time for it to load. So, what are some of the ways you can assess the speed of your website? So, one site we have is Google Page Insights. So, this is a free tool. Just a moment. So, like I said, one of the ways you can evaluate your performance of your website is by using Google Page Speed Insights. So, this is a free tool from Google that runs a performance test on your website and provides recommendation on how to increase its performance, both on the desktop and on the mobile versions. All right, so let's begin by let me just open Google Page Insights, and then let me find that URL for Machaka Group Limited. Let me get URL for that. Okay, now I have URL. Machaka, I am sorry, but you are our case study today, so forgive me. Forgive me for that. So let me just use your site to see what it will be able to give us. So I'll stop sharing my presentation in a moment, and then just share with you the Google Page Insights. So this is how the Google Page Insights looks like. So when you just go to Google Page Insights, this is how it will look like. Then you come and you put here your URL for your website. Okay, let's see. All right, there we have, it's giving us a bit of data in a moment. So let's see if still diagnosing any issues your website may have. All right. So I hope all of us are able to see my screen, because I want to just say something and shout out to Tacy Tuwei. Thank you so much for being here. You're welcome. All right. So now we have results here for Mwachaka Group. So you can see here this is mobile. Remember, we talked about these days more people being mobile. You can see we have a percentage here. So Mwachaka, you are at 62% performance, which is Not fantastic, but good. So your fantastic performance should be between 90 to 100%, and you can see here a score. So if you have a score of 0 to 49, you are doing badly. Your website is doing badly. If you have a score of between 50 to 89, your website is average. And then between 90 to 100, your website is excellent. So there's so many things that goes into that. And then here we have some statistics. So let me just expand the view. So you can see here, so this is a bit technical, but don't worry, I'll try to um, bring them down to palatable. So here, so first content paint, this one is just the time it takes for a text or image to be painted. What does that mean? For example, when I click on the link of Mwachaka group, how many seconds does it take for the text and the images to be shown? Have you ever gone to a website and then you see it takes a lot of time, like it begins the image or the text begins to show up, but it takes a bit of time before that is complete. So for Machaka group, it's 2.6 seconds. So he needs to work on, potentially it could be the images. So the images could be like the images are bigger. So he needs to optimize the images to try and compress them so that they're smaller, so that they take lesser time to load. Here we have speed index. So speed index, you can see anything here that is red means it needs work. So this 0.2 seconds means this website needs a bit of work to bring that to green. So green is the optimal. So here 2.6 is average. But then here the speed index, this one is, you can see here they're telling you it's how long like it takes for a page to be completely populated. So you see for his page, it takes around 6 seconds. So similarly, it could be potentially maybe the images are large images. It could be having, yes, very few images on the website, but they're taking a huge space of the website or a huge size of the website. That is why they're taking a bit longer to load. So you'll just be looking here, they'll give you a bit of insights. And then if you want potentially to learn more, you click here and you'll be able to learn more. Then you can see here the total blocking time is between so his total blocking time is really good. You can see this is green, and then the cumulative layout is 0.02. But generally, this website on average is doing well on mobile view. Let's see if that will go higher for desktop view. Remember, your website has the mobile view and the desktop view, so it needs to have a good experience on both of the space. So let's see. You can see for the desktop view, he is doing fantastic. He's just 1 point to reach excellent. So he just needs a bit of work to do on the mobile. And you can see here for the first content paint, he is doing really well. So you can see here it's 0.8 seconds when it comes to desktop, but when it comes to mobile, it's 2.6 seconds. So Machaka, you need to do a bit of work on making your website mobile friendly, because you can see on desktop you're doing fantastic. This is 0.8 seconds. You can see everything is green, just an exception of the speed index, which is how quickly your page is completely populated. You can see here you have 0 blocking time. So it means the time it takes for the page, for the image and the text to be first seen, to the time it takes to the image and for the whole screen to be completely filled is 0. So it means when somebody is using a computer, for example, it automatically uploads everything at the same time. So that's why this is 0. But when I click on your mobile view, you can see it's taking um 70 milliseconds for it to completely load. Yeah. So on when it comes to page speed and how your website is performing, Mwachaka, you are doing fantastic. When it comes to desktop, you can see just one score to the excellent. You are at 89%. So just one score to the excellent, which is really good. But then for the mobile view is where you have a bit of work to do. All right, so and I'll just be giving us a bit of tips on how we can even better that. So All right, let's see if we had somebody else also share with me their website so far. All right, so thank you so much for that. That's also how you can just try to troubleshoot your website to just see how it's performing. So Machaka, people on your desktop have a fantastic um, user view, rather user experience, but then on mobile is a bit and needs some working on. So at least after this class, you have somewhere to begin from. All right. So also another thing we need a tool we can use apart from the Google Page Speed Insights is Pingdom. Yeah, so Pingdom is also another tool you can be able to use. Also, it will just also give you just a performance on how that looks like. And then we also have an interesting tool called Performance Budget Calculator. So this one is a free tool. So performance budget calculator will help you to figure out what kind of content you can use to keep your site performing optimally. So let me try that with Machaka to see potentially which kind of content he can have on his site. Okay. So let me show my screen in a moment. Stop sharing my screen and then I'll reshare that again. So performance, yeah, I said performance budget calculator. So if I want to see what kind of content I should be able. So let's say if I want this website to load in 3 seconds, on which connection? Let's say mobile. So here, let's say mobile speed. This is slow. So you come and change here. So let's say 3G. 3G is I think all over Kenya. Yeah, most people are on 3G. So I'll decide. Then here it will calculate. All right. So this is a bit technical. So you can see if for your videos, you need to make, this is the maximum size of your videos. This is for the fonts. This is the maximum size you can go for. If you are, let's say your developer is programming, then these are the maximum size they can be able to see, to use rather. If it is for images, it means for your images, if you want your website to run at 3 seconds, your images need to be a maximum of 378 kilobytes. So then, yes, you can download this information. So next time you are uploading images, you are trying to make sure that your images do not exceed this, because if they exceed this, then it means it will your website won't load at 3 seconds or below that. Yes, so that's also another tool you can try to use. So next time you're uploading images, you're trying to compress your images to this size. All right, so that's how you use the performance budget calculator to just see what kind of content you can be able to upload on your website and what are some of the limitations you want to put. So depending on how you want it, you can also just go back and try to change this. Remember here we did put 3 seconds. So we can go back to setting the target again and then change the speed. So if it is mobile, you want to see at what is the size you can be able to put. If it is mobile, is it 2G, is it 3G? Yes, so that's how you use the performance budget calculator to just guide your um, content. All right. Then, like I talked about servers, I know some of us came with their own website. So, which kind of hosting are you using? We have shared hosting, we have virtual private servers, and then we have your own dedicated server. So, shared hosting is usually one of the cheapest way to host your website. Yes. And sometimes you'll be able to compare, let's say, this host and this service provider and be like, wow, this one's charging me expensively. Potentially, maybe they are using shared hosting, because so you guys are sharing the hosting. It means you are cost sharing the money. But now the challenge with sharing hosting, it means that since you people are sharing your disk space, you are sharing your RAM, then it will affect the performance of your website. So potentially you could be going for cheaper. It's cheaper to host with shared hosting, but at what disadvantage or at what expense on your website speed? So you could decide, rather than buy cheap hosting on shared, let me buy a virtual private server. So virtual private server, this one is usually much faster um, than the shared hosting. Or if you are a big business, you just then go for the dedicated server, so that you have your own dedicated server. But then, so for the people who are on shared hosting, that could also be affecting how your website is performing. So, and if it is affecting the speed of your website, then it means you're losing out on people. So even if you'll go and run a fantastic campaign and people are not able to access your website, you are wasting that budget. So very, very important to also take note. So after this, kindly talk to your developer, ask them what hosting plan are you having for me. Yes, if you know you've been using shared hosting, then try to rethink that if you can just add a few coins here and there and use the virtual private server. So that's also another thing you need to look into. Then we have plugins, and here is where I have a bit of trouble with some of our websites. So okay. And if you have any question at any comment, just keep putting them in the comment section. I'm looking at them and I'll respond to them even as the class continues. So we have another bit that is called plugins. So what are plugins? So for example, Machaka here has a website, and then he decides, I don't want people to be calling me and placing their orders. I just want them to be buying on their website. So what will Machaka Group? Let me just put Machaka's website on the screen again. Yes, Emily, yes. For those who we have their website developed, we are not putting them on shared hosting. Yes. So, Emily, you got that covered. But for those who had their own websites and potentially you are using shared hosting, then this is a time to rethink that. It could be cheaper to host, but at what expense on your speed of your website? So, if we had, yes, we are not putting you on shared hosting, Emily. So don't worry about that if we are the ones who developed your website. All right, I hope that's clear. All right, for Emily. So keep the questions coming. So I want to display Machaka's website. Yeah, so even you people, you can also share with me your website. So here is his website. You can see he has some products here. So let's say on his shop. So let's say he decides, I don't want people to be calling me and making orders. I just want them to place the order on the website. For me, I just receive a notification that so and so has placed an order and has paid for it. So what will Machaka Group? Machaka will talk to his developer and ask his developer to put in a payment system. So that payment system, the whatever we are putting so that this website can now be able to do that is called a plugin. So sometimes businesses decide they have so many unnecessary plugins which will affect how your website will perform. So have the plugins that you really, really need, the ones that are necessary. For example, if you decide the payment, let's say the payment or the ones the payment plugins. So don't put so many unnecessary plugins on your website that you are not using. So sometimes you can decide, okay, put for me a plugin that will collect this and this and this. Put for me a plugin that will do this and this and this. Those so many requests that you have as a website. So you need to sit down and decide which is the most important for your business, because the more plugins you have, the more they are going to affect the performance of your website, especially when it comes to speed. So you need to keep your eyes on that. So Emily, yes, if you do want to make edits on your own on your website, just talk to your digital marketing specialist in your cohort, and he'll be able to provide you with that information, Emily. All right, so thank you so much for that. So try to minimize and reduce the number of plugins that you install on your website. Just have the most necessary ones that you need. All right, so thank you so much for that. So we can continue to just see what are some of the ways we can improve our websites. All right. So like I said, one thing that we need to keep our eyes on is the images. So images tend to be usually our most problematic areas when it comes to website speed performance. So images and videos. So images is usually what captivates the eye. So you'd want to put a nice image on your website. So number one of the thing is try to resize your images to uh, desired dimensions before uploading them. So once you have taken those fantastic images, you want to put them in your website, try to resize them so that they don't overwhelm your website or affect your speed performance. And the most ideal is try to limit the format of the image to JPEG, PNG, or a GIF. Unless it is completely impossible to have those file formats, is when you can use whatever you have. So try to compress the images also to improve the load times. So try to compress your images and uh, so that it doesn't overwhelm the performance of your website. So, and also not too small, but just moderate enough just to retain the right quality that you have. So if you are compressing your image, don't compress it past the 75% of the original image. So even as you are compressing the image, it's important to make sure that it doesn't go past 3/4 of the original image. So very, very important to make sure that also you don't also reduce the quality of that particular image on your website. So remember, I've just given you a bit of tools. We also have another tool that we call Lighthouse. So Lighthouse, the way I'm saying it. So Lighthouse is also a fantastic tool just to help you look at your performance of your website. I've also given you uh, Google Page Insights. You can also just after this class go and try out your website, put your URL and see how it's performing. All right, yeah. So if you potentially have a bit of traffic problem in just interpreting that data, just try to reach out to your DMS and they'll be help you to interpret that data and see what's happening. But the most important way is just to keep our eyes on the images and the videos that we have. And I've also just given you a tool that you can be able to decide, use it to determine your size of the images that you can have on your website. So let's say if we have a question, but before I just wrap up this class, it's very, very important generally to improve your user experience. And then there's also something we usually call the A/B testing. So what is it that also can help us in improving our website? So here you have a different version of the page. So for example, your about us page, you can decide you want to have this version and this version, and then you can be able, let's say, have this version in for 2 weeks, I have the other version of this about us page for another 2 weeks. Then compare the performance of those two versions and see which version is bringing in more traffic. So once you see the version that is bringing you more traffic, that is the version you now want to maintain on your page. So this is always, remember, having a website is not, having your website live is not the end of it all. You need to keep updating your website, and some of the ways is by doing the A and B testing. So you have this website, track its progress, let's say even for a month, if you so wish, for a month, and then the other month have the other version of the page, and then see which version is bringing in more traffic, and then maintain that. So that's also another way to do that. Yes, seamless mobile experience, very very important. If you have done any Google ads, you'll be able to see from the dashboard that mobile tends to be the one that has the most traffic. So if your website is not at optimal, when it comes to mobile, you may be losing out. Keywords, like I said, very very important. So make sure you use the targeted keywords. For example, so if you are using or selling sources like Machaka, is that part of the content? If I'm just search sources online, can I be able to see your website with that information? And always measure and monitor. So I hope if you have been attending my classes, which all of you have been, you should be able by now to have Google Analytics or Google Search Console, because that is only the only way you'll be able to measure your website. So like for example, even before you do the A and B testing, how will you know this version is doing better than the other one if you have not installed the tools that are supposed to collect that information? So very, very important to also do that. And like I said, optimize your image, have them in JPEG, PNG, or GIF format, unless you cannot have them in that format. And also there are tools online that can help you in compressing your images so that they don't overload your website when it comes to speed. But remember to always make sure that you do not compress past 75% of the original quality, because at that point then the image becomes start to begin getting distorted. So also very very important to keep your eyes on that. Additionally, another best practice is before you make any change on your site, I've just seen Lydia asking, like, if can I be able to get the cPanel credentials of my website? So before you do any changes on your site, make sure you have a backup of that, just in case, let's say, something bad happens, or maybe you click something you were not supposed to, or you deleted a code you were not supposed to, then you have a backup of that. So very very important. So generally, let's those are some of the ways that we can make our website better and try to improve the user experience of our users. Yes, so I know after this class we are going to use the tools that I have shared, the Google Page Insights. I've also shared Light, and this is Google Page Insights, the performance budget calculator, just to also help you with to know the maximum size you want your images or videos, or the codes that you have on your site. Remember, these are the free tools I have shared. We have other ones that are payable, but I've shared with you the free tools. You can also use backlinks. So backlinks are, let's say, have you ever gone to a website and then you read information on that website, and then once you read that information, if you want to read more of that information, you go to another website. So that's also one way to also improve your SEO, but you can just also decide to do your own page, that particular page that you have, or that blog post. Try to optimize the content so that it's search friendly. Remember, if you have Google Search Console, it will will also help you to know how you are ranking. So for those who have been wondering, how do I know how my website is ranking? Yes, install, or it's not even actually installing. It's actually just signing up on Google Search Console, putting your URL, confirming your credentials, and it begins collecting data. So it's not even anything to do with installation. All right. So I hope I've given you a bit of tips and here just to help you in optimizing your website and even knowing how it's performing so far. So any questions at this point? Any questions? Any question? Yes. Yeah. And something, yeah. So also something to keep track of. And I know if we've been doing Google Ads, some of our sites have been giving us a bit of trouble in terms of your website. So let's say we are running ads on your website and then your website, Google rejects that. Why? Or you are redirecting traffic to another site. I see Nelson is saying, please share all the free tools here. Okay, Nelson, let me just have that for you. One is Google Page Insights. So let me type that for you. We have Google Page Insights. We have performance budget calculator. So just to run through, I say Google Page Insights will tell you how your website is performing on mobile and on desktop. So you check both sides. You could be doing really well on desktop, like you see Machaka is only a score, one score to excellent. And then, but you can see on mobile is at 62, so he still needs a bit of work on it, but at least he is optimal, at least he is not below. So yeah. So the other one, like the other tool I talked about, that is performance budget calculator. So keep your questions coming through. I'll be able to just respond to that even as they come through. And then I also talked about which other tools did I talk about? All right. I'll just, what I will do, if you allow me, let me just compile all the tools that we have, and then I can be able to share that with your DMS, and then they can be able to share with you in the group. So I'll just give me after this class, I'll be able to put all the tools together, and then they can be able to share with you in your respective groups so that you get all those tools. Is that okay, Nelson? All right. I can see Distinctive is saying great insights and presentation, Winnie. You'll probably need to go through this session again. Thank you so much for that. So I think at this point, I'll just, yeah, I can see Distinct absolutely in great hands. All right. Distinctive or Elia will be able to help you with that. You said you want to see, okay, the cost of that once the program is up. All right. So Elia will be able to advise you. All right. So I can see I've responded to you, Nelson. So thank you so much for that. Okay. All right. So at this point, if we do not have any further questions, we are social human beings. We are social human beings, so we are found online. So let me just display that again. So if you've not had a chance to follow us, you may be able to follow us again. Machaka, forgive me today. You are my best SME. You are my trusted Amy. So thank you so much for just allowing me to use your website for the purposes of today's class. Right. So, like I said, if you want to participate in the free bootcamp available from Google, you can be able to do that as well. Like I said, if you want to learn more, go to learndigital.withgoogle.com /digital skills, or alternatively, you could just reach out to your DMS to give you a few tips here and there to just help you work better. So yes, we are social. We are on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. We are so on Facebook. We are at Digital Skills for Africa. On Twitter, we are at Digital Skills AF, and on Instagram, we are also at Digital Skills AF. So I think I don't know. I am being. Oh, Frank is saying, seem to have misplaced my login credentials. How do I recover them? You'll need to reach to your developer so that he can be able to help you with that. So if you do not have them, then reach out to your service provider, whoever, if it is the domain, whoever bought that domain. If your host is GoDaddy, for example. So you reach out to them and be able to ask for that as well. Sorry, I wasn't able to see that, but thank you so much, Elia, for reminding me. All right, all right. I can see my moderator has shared that with you. So thank you so much for being part of today's session. I hope you have learned a thing or two about your website. Remember these skills we are giving you so that even if you decide you're not able to do them on your own, you are having somebody do them. You know what to expect from them, or you know what you should be looking out for as an individual. So thank you so much for always coming through in today's class and even the subsequent classes. Like I said, I will put all these tools together in a document and be able to share that with your respective DMSs so that I can be able to share with you so you can have a look at that. But has been my utmost pleasure to host you in today's class. Yes. All right, Machaka, thank you so much also as well for just giving me a chance to use your website for the purposes of today's class. I'm sure after this class, you'll be talking to Brian on how to make your website more mobile friendly. All right, so thank you so much for that. All right. At this point, I'd just like to sign off. So has been my utmost pleasure to host you in today's class. I hope I have served you with justice. It's very, very important for me to serve you with justice. Yeah, so thank you so much for always being part of today's class. My moderator, thank you, Elia, thank you, Brian, thank you, Joe. And everyone else who has had a chance to participate and ask questions and comments, even follow up. If you have your questions and you feel that they have not been answered in today's class, just reach out. You'll be able to get a response to them. We are here for your sake. So thank you all for coming and have a fantastic evening. See you again next week on a different topic, even as we look at a different angle on how to enrich our presence online. My name again is Winnie, and God bless you. Have a lovely Thursday, Friday, weekend until next week. Bye bye.